Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can everyone hear me? Good morning. Good morning. You can hear me.
Good morning. I'm Candace Sanchez, Albuquerque City Councilor for this district. Councilor Pena apologizes she could not make it this morning, but we have our policy analyst here, Nancy Montano. But I wanted to call this mini summit together with the business community along the West Central corridor, because I'm hearing a lot of concerns that I know Jillian's from Burgers and More, they said they are down close to 30%. I know Golden Pride, their business is down, I think, 25 to 30%. They've laid off 4 employees, and that's very concerning for myself. Also being in Albuquerque, West Side.
Why did you worry about it now? I wouldn't worry about it when you wanted.
Well, excuse me. If you would, we're going to give everybody an opportunity to speak. I also have a business along the West Central corridor. We have Gilbert Sanchez Tax and Accounting Service, a firm that my dad started over 50 years ago. And we've seen the impacts also. For myself, the last couple of weeks, we were basically landlocked for 2 weeks. There was no signage out in front of our business saying access to the business. And basically we were having to call our clients. And in our case, it's a little bit easier because we can call and have people, they're making appointments, so we could call them back and say you could come down through Coors, Churchill, and up through 57th Street to access our business. And that helped out a little bit, so we were able to get that done. But again, it was still very difficult to access the business. I know we've got, I think Greg is here from El Cerrito. We've got several business members of our community that are extremely concerned by what is going on. And this is still even in the preliminary stages, because we've had P&M come in and do some of the work, and now we have the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority, and we have Director Sanchez here today, he will be talking about the project on what's going on in their phase. But the A.R.T project actually has not officially started. That cannot start and will not start. We will be going before the federal courts. I think they're going to rule on this on the 22nd of this month. So we're basically sitting back and waiting to see what they're saying. But I know it's been problematic, and if we can resolve these problems early on as this project goes through, we can try to minimize the impacts along the entire corridor. Because we are seeing the impacts. I mean, we've seen the impacts. Our business community has seen the impacts. I know that John from Max Steak and Rough has seen the impacts. Western View, the Sonic, I'm not sure if we've got representation here today from Sonic, but they are very concerned, and I heard that their water was turned off for several hours. You can't operate a restaurant without having water, especially if you're a restaurant type of business. But at this time, we will open it up to the public and to the community to basically give your input, because your input is very important. We feel that you need to be engaged and involved in this process because you're being impacted by what is going on. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure is that we minimize the impacts on the businesses. I think, Jimmy, you're here also from Western View, and you've seen some impacts also. So we're very concerned by what's going on, and we feel that...
Stop the art if you're so concerned.
Well, basically, then we have Bruce Rosier here. We've got an economic development director here, because you can also look at applying for some loans that will be available. But again, let's show some respect, listen to the speakers, and then we will get your input. But again, I wanted to call this meeting to try to work with this business community to see what we can do to make things better for you. And at this time, I am going to turn this over to Nancy Montano, who is here to represent Councilor Pena. Again, she is the other representative from this district. Nancy?
Can you hear me? Yes. Without a mic? Yes.
Nancy, if you can use the mic.
I don't like to use the mic. Just have a brief statement from Councilor Pena. Unfortunately, the councilor is unable to be here due to her work schedule. There had been a previous public meeting with the Water Authority regarding the construction issues on West Central, and since then the Water Authority has been providing updates on a regular basis with information on the construction schedules. We want to thank the Water Authority for doing that, and just to let you know that the councilor is in regular contact with them regarding these issues. And as you know, she did vote against A.R.T, and her main concern is that the delays, that any delays do not further impact the West Central corridor, the businesses and residents who live along the corridor. She asked me to let you know that she is available to assist folks with any concerns you may have regarding this construction. So you can always contact me if you'd like, Nancy Montano, my full name at cabq.gov, or 768-3127 if you have any concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. At this time, I will turn this over to Gary Opedal, and we're going to ask him to come to the microphone because you have some mics up here for the TV stations. But Gary's going to talk briefly about the loans that will be available and some of the work that's being done and what we're looking at with economic development along this corridor. Gary?
Thanks, Councilor, and good morning. So what we're trying to do here is to mitigate the problems as the construction goes. I want to make just a few comments about why this is so important. We know that when we're looking at the future of Albuquerque, the transit has to be a part of it. And as a business owner myself, I can tell you that if you told me you were going to tear up a street in front of my business, I would be concerned also. What we want to do, though, is we want to take advantage of the fact that the feds are going to buy electric buses for us to replace our rapid ride buses, which are 150% of useful life. We know that will attract the new businesses and keep our millennials here. Millennials who, if you don't know, if you haven't been watching the trend, used to be 97% of people had their license between the ages of 16 and 44. That's down to 77%. Millennials are not getting licenses anymore. And if we want to complain about them leaving the city and the state, this will keep them here. And that, with remote workers and boomers, it will keep the people along this corridor. And the intent is that this corridor becomes a really good place for local shoppers and national and international visitors. And remember, this is just the first part of an overall transit system that then goes airport to Health Sciences Center down the Jefferson Corridor, out to Paseo, to Coors, and then back around again, so that we can incorporate more and more people who can live, work, and play with good transit. And remember those folks who can really benefit from getting an $8,000 to $10,000 raise by being able to get rid of a car in their family budget. So for those reasons and many more, we're very much in favor of making sure that we can move the city ahead and make sure that we're ready for the next decades. Now, along the way, we want to make sure that everybody who's in that corridor benefits and prospers from this project. So that's the people, the neighborhoods, and the businesses. From a people standpoint, we want to make sure that we see all the folks that live in the neighborhoods look at their skills and skill up for the three types of jobs that are going to come to the corridor as a result of this. Construction jobs, replacement and expansion of current businesses, and new businesses coming in. And that those people will be first in line with their resumes, and we'll be providing skill ups for those folks so that they can be working in that corridor and benefiting from the transit. From the neighborhood standpoint, we're having some open space meetings where we talk about helping each neighborhood visualize where they would like to be as a neighborhood along the route as a catalyst. And from the business standpoint, we're doing the project that's called Molino. Molino, which is, has three major components: the Navigators, Trep Connect software, and the Co-op Capital. And the Navigators are folks who are going around. There's four of them: Steve Becerra, Vanessa Roan, Horace Kelly Mwamba, Wendy Sandage, who are going around to each of the businesses and not saying, and saying, what's your major concerns? What can we do to help? And those folks would then be able to help with certain things that businesses need, like websites and financial assistance and social media and things like this. And so then the Truck Connect will be a software system for small businesses and entrepreneurs that will be able to assist them in accessing the resources that are available to them. And we've got, as you saw from an announcement 2 weeks ago, Smithsonian, if you go to abq66.com, and you can see that each business along the way will get a postcard and a new way of social media to be able to talk about what their goods and services are to everyone in Albuquerque, and we're starting that along the corridor. The last thing is Co-op Capital. Co-op Capital is money set aside in a central fund that will be available for forgivable loans for businesses that do lose business during the construction, and for low interest and no interest loans for businesses who would like to take advantage of this time and maybe do some improvements in their business systems, or the facade, since they're going to have door-to-door new sidewalks, pavement, trees, lighting, wayfinding. Then it might be a good time to also look at their business and get some loans to do that. So those things will be in place. We want to just let you know that we are committed to each of the businesses along Central, We want to make sure that you survive and thrive through this. And then the new folks that come in to provide higher density and more customers will be assimilated into the already great culture there, and that nobody is displaced by this. And that's our commitment. And during that time, we are committing, and I know Bruce is too, to really communicate with the businesses along the way and make sure they know exactly what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. At this time, I would like to turn it over to our transit director, Bruce Roseri. He's been working on this project for some time now, along with the administration and the staff. He had a chance and an opportunity to go to Cleveland to look at what went on in Cleveland. And I know that we're not Cleveland. We don't have the Browns, the Cavaliers, or the Indians as big sporting attractions. But they turned $250 million, and that was their investment, into $5.8 billion of economic development along the corridor. But again, I know that the businesses are struggling today, and that's one of the things that we need to address. And what we will be doing is working with the transit department, and I'll have Mark Sanchez, the director of the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority, come up and also talk about what's going on with the project that is currently underway now. But Bruce, he is director of transit.
Excuse me, Ken. I think you guys are taking too much time. It's from 9 to 10.
I know, but we will no.
Give the people a chance.
We will definitely go on longer than 10 o'clock. You definitely will have an opportunity to speak, right? You will have that opportunity.
So quit speaking.
Well, we need to.
We already know what we do. We already know.
Well, we got the experts.
DNA is moving those lines. DNA is moving those lines.
Okay, I'm going to go and allow the speakers. We'll allow the speakers just 2 minutes each, and then we will turn it over to the public.
Maybe everybody will say get a light.
Excuse me. Let's please have some order so we can let the public have an opportunity to speak.
This man is not a here.
No, we will allow each individual to speak, but I will limit it to 2 minutes for our speakers up here, and then they can answer your questions.
Right.
They're
But
only
please.
going to say the same bullshit that they've already told us.
Well, look, again, I'm going to ask Bruce to speak for 2 minutes. We'll allow 2 minutes each for the speakers, and then we will open up to the public. And if it goes on till after 10 o'clock, we will be here to listen to your concerns. Excuse me. I know you guys are businesses. You got to get back to your businesses. But that's understandable. Let us continue on with this meeting. We will get it done.
What can we do to get that done before they started?
Let him talk, let him finish.
Yeah, the whole city's already done. What the hell do we want to talk about now?
Good morning, I'm Bruce Roseri, Director of the State Albuquerque Transit Department. And I want to thank the members of the audience who are showing respect for everyone's opinions here. I'll make it relatively quick.
No, you don't.
Our project has changed over the years since we started back
Why
in
did Reardon
2012.
tell me when
As
we were
part
in
of this
federal court,
effort here,
what are you looking
we have
at?
been addressing many concerns from the public. One of the major concerns is what happens during construction. So part of the effort here today is to listen to your concerns about what's going on in Central Avenue now with the Water Authority construction.
It's our turn up.
As part of our effort, we've been going out door to door along Central Avenue to talk with businesses. Catherine and Eric over there have been doing this full time. We have responded to questions. As part of the current effort, we have set up a 24-hour hotline where, as they say, a real person answers that phone 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, to either answer your questions or get responses back to you. That's part of our commitment during construction of art, that you have a person or persons to speak with, and we'll get back to you with any concerns you have with construction phasing or any construction projects. We'll also be providing information to owners along Central Avenue in advance of construction, so you know what's happening before someone shows up on your doorstep. As Gary mentioned, we have another outreach program to assist businesses with their own type of marketing, in which will be complementary to the marketing that the city's going to be doing about the project, about businesses being open, and scheduling events so that customers and other folks can come down to that part of Central Avenue, enjoy the restaurants, enjoy the businesses, enjoy what's being there, so it can attract customers during construction. We'll also be working with the Department of Municipal Development and the unit which approves the barricade plan for construction to make sure that working with the businesses along that section, there's enough signage for businesses. The more you yell, the longer I'm going to stay here to get my point across. There's other folks here who want to listen.
You don't have a
so
point.
your shouting is obviously very rude, and it's very disrespectful to your fellow
So it's
citizens of Central.
disrespectful, huh?
So if you would just tone it down for another 30 seconds, I can conclude and move on to the next speaker. So the city's efforts and commitment is to provide information to you before construction starts, during construction, and after construction is concluded in your area. That's about it.
Good.
Thanks, Bruce. I'm going to call up Mark Sanchez, the Director of the Albuquerque Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority. This is the work that is now going on along West Central. To at least, you may need more than 2 minutes, so if you could give at least 3, but we'll try to ask him to make it as quickly as possible. Mark?
Good morning. I'll take 30 seconds so we have more time for questions. Basically, we know this is the major disruption that's going on right now, and it has been for the last 3 months. Our work is unrelated to ART. We're simply going in and replacing water lines that go back to the 1950s. Some of the issues we've run into, one, there were no records kept before 1960, believe it or not, about where water lines were located. So we know there's been a couple of service interruptions, and that's because a live line that we didn't even know existed was cut. That got repaired as quickly as possible. I think it was within hours at the most. You could challenge us if that's not correct. Also, we've had some issues with signage. Councilor Sanchez has relayed concerns about business signage and access. One of the issues we faced is people are stealing our signs. TLC and John Gabalone will talk later, answering your questions, that when we put signs up, the next day they're gone. And I don't know if it's just kids doing that to be funny or for recycling sales or something like that. So I'll stop there and we'll answer any questions you have about concerns we've had.
Can I tell you something? You guys aren't even using common sense. When you guys were running your line in front of my store, you had 55th Street shut down. I have 2 entrances. One is you turn into 55th and there's another main entrance. You guys had 55th shut down for 3 weeks, and then you came across and ran 2 water lines, 2 different days, and there was no way to get in. 0. Nobody had enough sense to wait until we could open up 55th so that you could shut down my only other entrance I had. And that's true, because I met with these 2, and they walked in my store in the middle of lunch, and I didn't have a single customer in that store, because you couldn't get in.
You want us to address that?
So there's you use no common sense. It's not about signs. It's not about, oh, we ran into this problem or that problem. How about having some common sense and some consideration for people that run businesses that have bills?
Very good. John, you want to address that?
So I'm the lucky project manager for the Water Authority on this, and I am working with TLC and Patty Watson. We're trying to resolve these issues and try to correct them going forward. I know you've already been impacted, so that doesn't help you.
Huge.
And so going forward, we're trying to get lessons learned and move forward and try to be
This is
try to be better.
Who's your supervisor?
Well, Mark Sanchez is my boss's boss's boss.
Okay,
so.
but you do have a trickle-down effect from Mark. I mean, there's Mark, and then there's somebody, and then there's you, and then you go to the field. Because we've seen that tractors parked in people's driveways, you know, and I think that's because there's no supervision for some of the employees. So the tractors are parked in driveways, no access for ambulances, emergency vehicles. The tattoo shop on Yucca on the corner there, they parked 2 tractors in her driveway overnight. The next morning, the people that lived there couldn't get out.
On several occasions.
And we don't have pictures and numbers of all this.
Thank you for that. So we have a contract with TLC who's doing this work for us, and maybe one of the representatives of TLC wants to get up and talk about the equipment and access.
No, we don't want to hear from them. We want to talk. We want to talk.
The people want to talk about it.
Well, but we're trying to address your concerns as you're bringing them up.
Well, Mr. Sanchez, just like you said, this poor guy gets up and he says, well, I'm afraid I'm the unlucky one that has to deal with this, right? So he's feeling on edge too, right?
It's true, and the best thing that can be done is I know Patty Watson's out in the field a lot. I try to be out in the field a lot. Escalate when you have problems. As soon as you have problems, we can try to resolve them faster, to either myself or Patty. And we can work with TLC and try to resolve the issues before they impact you.
Can I ask something about that then? I have had to call Patty Watson to my shop because nobody could get in. Patty Watson has had to park a block away to walk to my shop.
Okay.
When I'm being told by TLC and by the workers out there that they don't have it blocked. How can you address that when it's completely blocked and they're saying it's not? When they're standing right there in front of it and there's no way. The only entrance I have is off Central. You block that entrance, I have no way for anyone to get into my business. You want to talk about impacted? My business has went down 80%. I'm a widow supporting 2 children alone.
If I might mention something, the reason we have problems with the water authority is because Ken Sanchez is on that board, and there's other city councilors on that board, and how can you lose if you're part of the water department, and now the councilors are on there, part of them, that's what's wrong with it.
You want to finish up?
We're talking about people crying who are hurting. Some of you have husbands and family members who can help you. A sole proprietor in this economy is already hurting. We haven't even recovered from the last recession, and we're putting this, remember, this isn't a free giveaway. We paid for it, you know, and we put Ken in office because he wanted him to take care of us.
He didn't. He did not take care of us.
We're having a hard time right now.
He threw his own people away in his own
Let
district.
your lady go. Okay.
We're here to address the issues. I mean, you can criticize me all you want, and we'll let you go and speak.
Right now.
Well, I'm going to give you guys a microphone.
You be quiet.
No, I'm going to let you speak.
You be quiet.
But we're going to give. You're going to show some respect here.
I want to know where all the money's being spent and where it goes and where it came from. I want a complete accounting of every single penny
And let me answer your
spent
question.
on this project.
We are asking for that information now from the Albuquerque.
Give us
This is a $120 million. We've already discussed
I wanna know
this.
where the money is.
We need to resolve some of the problems that we are confronting right now, and we will go over that information. I will have Bruce give you a breakdown of where all that money is going. It's a $120 million project, the A.R.T. project.
Why don't you print it up, put it in the newspaper so
And
we can all see it?
I mean, we've had several meetings here at this library and throughout the city, but a lot of the information didn't get out, and we apologize for that. Excuse me.
I didn't even know there was
We're going to have one
money.
speaker at a time,
Nobody gave me a
or we will
notice.
not. One speaker at a time? Yes, sir. Let's get him a microphone, please. Back here.
You'll need to turn that one off in order for this one to be used.
Yes, as a procedural issue, the biggest complaint is that the procedural issues were not followed. People did not learn about this project until very, very late in the game. There wasn't a fair procedure. Now, in this meeting, if we want to correct this situation, and as people have said, move forward, let's have one speaker, and then let's have an opportunity for the members of the audience to respond to that one speaker. We had one speaker who talked about millennials. I would like to talk about millennials. We had another speaker who talked about the water break at university, which involved 200 truckloads the size of a gas truck going down, and the response in the newspaper was that, oh, this was a water line that had to be drained. There are not 200 trucks to fill that with grout. There has been deception by the contractors in regard to what the situation is. 200 gas trucks, full-size gas trucks with grout on Central, or somebody was lying about that enormous water break that flooded down Central Avenue from University for 2 weeks. And yesterday it was still flooding water. Now, about the millennial situation is that, no, the millennials are not for this project. The one thing that people do not realize is that millennials are very adverse to debt. That's why they are not buying houses. The other reasons they're not buying houses is because they have massive student loan debt that they cannot get out from under. Now, all of these programs for the economic development of Central are based upon new population in Albuquerque. Albuquerque does not have jobs. We have an abundance of housing, And as a result, housing prices are continuing to plummet. We are the only city anywhere near us, the only major city that has not recovered from the Great Depression, meaning the Great Recession, as some people call it. You know, the idea that people came on Route 66 from Oklahoma and went to California because there were better buses is absurd. This is the history of Route 66. People came through Albuquerque by the hundreds of thousands to go to California because in California there were jobs, not buses. You know, a bus is not going to change the situation. We need jobs. And what we are doing, instead of bringing in new jobs and coming up with something to bring jobs into this community, is, as these business people here have testified, and I have personally talked in the last 3 months to many of them, we are losing jobs. More jobs are being lost. Another thing about the millennials is that 12 years ago, we brought the best BRT articulated buses into this city. Most of the millennials were between 12 and 20 years old at the time. Now, did the millennials flock to those buses? No, they did not. You know, the millennials do not ride buses in Seattle, in Fort Collins, in Cleveland. Now, let's talk another thing, because I'm going on because we didn't get a chance to respond to each speaker systematically. Cleveland has been given as an example for the $3 billion worth of investment. As anybody knows, who has any knowledge whatsoever, Cleveland is one of those Rust Belt cities like Detroit and like Flint, Michigan, that was devastated by the loss of jobs. The federal government put in $3 billion worth of money into Cleveland. It had nothing to do with 7 blocks of the BRT system that was coincidentally put into modern Cleveland. You know, the situation, no, the people have gone on. And I will run, as Mr. Rosari said, you know, just 30 seconds more. Okay, here's my 30 seconds. The point is that if we're going to get $3 billion from the federal government to rebuild Central Avenue, that's fine. But we're going to have a lot more empty businesses, and we're going to have a lot more competition for the existing businesses that don't have enough customers now to survive very well. They've been struggling before this project started, and now they are at the tipping point. They're going down. And this project needs to be stopped. Thank you very much.
So I can talk to you about the water, or perceived water waste. And so...
we don't want to hear from you, we want to hear from him.
Okay, so it does look like we're wasting a lot of water. And that's because what we do as we're doing this project is we're capping and abandoning a lot of old water lines in place. And it's a very non-trivial system. Like Mr. Sanchez said at the beginning of his talk, it's a very old system. There's a lot of lines that are interconnected and tied into each other that are, it's hard to see because they're all underground. And so part of our process when we were trying to drain the system is we opened it up. And so on University and Central in particular, we had a few 3/4-inch taps draining for a few days because we have a lot of line out there and it's a lot of volume. And so it could take many days to drain that system. And sometimes we have interconnect, and that's when we have to stop and re-engineer what we're doing. But we won't know that until we attempt to at least drain it. And so it's a very iterative process because we can't see lines in the ground. And so that's where you get that perceived water waste. But it's a necessity so that we can see that our systems are alive and dead. And it sounds odd, but it's just we don't have plans dating back to the installation of a lot of these lines. And so there's just interconnects that we have to find.
You know, why did you use the water in the trees that they let die up and down Central?
Let's have some order. I guess somebody here to speak that has his hand up.
Let me just add very quickly to the point about Central and University. We used to have something called Yale Reservoir, which is located on Redondo and Yale. It's kind of a black wall with rock
We
covering.
know it, John, we've been here.
No. So part of your concern about the water is that reservoir's been abandoned and the property sold to the University of New Mexico, where they're gonna build a physics and astronomy building on campus. So part of what John was talking about is we had to go in and cap all the lines that used to feed, gravity feed downtown. So that reservoir is gone now, it's not being used at all. So that was part of that project, just so you know.
Hello, my name is Luis Sanchez. I actually own the Allstate agency right here at 60th and Central. And basically what my biggest curiosity is, I've been impacted by the amount of people that can't get into my office because of the amount of construction, and it's happening right in front of my office. I'm a new business owner, and I share some of the same struggles that some of the other people here do as well, that we can't have access, there's no access. I've been in business for 6 months now, and during that 6 months, I've been fighting the construction the whole time. So I'm trying to make it work, and it's really been extremely difficult because of the construction. When I purchased into this business, I didn't really know that A.R.T was going to be coming in, and now it's handed to me, and it's really impacting my business. One of the things that I see, just because I was born and raised here, I'm a retired police officer. One of the things that I've seen is basically I used to get in the bus as a police officer, ride up and down Central, and basically arrest people on the bus system, and help the bus drivers as we were going. And it was kind of and what I saw is that the ridership, there was nothing in there. The buses weren't full. There was not a lot of ridership in the buses. There was very little. What I look at is the hubs of the city are not as much up and down Central as they used to be. They're more to the outskirts, Louisiana, the Albuquerque uptown area. You've got a whole big, huge area down in Cottonwood. I know the buses go that way, but to me it would seem more appropriate to have the bus route actually be on Paseo or on Montana, where the other areas of the city are starting to develop. We want to move the city as it spreads to the outskirts, and as we move the city to the outskirts, I think it's important that the bus system stay with it instead of just staying in one general area. Let's move it all around the city. Central Avenue has looked that way since I've been here. I was born and raised here. And one of the things that I think that is really nice is the way Central is right now. It actually has a huge amount of character. People walk, they ride their motorcycles, drive their vehicles up and down Central the way it is now, and they love it because of the way it looks, the kind of just the way it is. And so my questions is after this is all said and done, how much money is the city going to make, and how much more is the city going to prosper from just having the bus system? I heard Mr. Reyes on the news the other day say that bus systems traditionally never, ever make any kind of money for the city. They're always subsidized by the federal government. We need projects like this gentleman said that actually bring money into our city and bring money to the community so that all of us up and down Central can still prosper. That's what we need. We need ideas that bring people and bring money in. There was an article in the newspaper not too long ago that said that Phoenix and Albuquerque were the same size in the 1970s, and Phoenix has blossomed. So we need leadership that's going to make those kinds of things happen, and that's what I'm all about. But when we deal with this, my question still stands: how much money, after it's all said and done, are we going to make as a city, or are we going to continue to lose money, like Mr. De Reyes said, and this project continually be subsidized by the federal government as long as it lasts?
Good morning. My name is Nira Hitano. I take great exception to the word corridor. We are talking about Route 66. This is a historic integrity road that has been here for many years. And to rip up the central portion of that for a bus line makes absolutely no sense to me. I take great exception to the fact that the City Council didn't act on a vote to stop this project when there has been so much opposition to it, as you can see from the people here. Not only here on the west side, but through the entire Route 66. In Germany, they just celebrated Route 66, had a big party. They shipped their cars over here. They shipped their motorcycles over here. Our museum, not too far on Mountain Road, has a 90th anniversary celebration. We have been told by members of the City Council that this is the mayor's project. Where is the mayor today? Where is he to address our issues? He's never here. He sends his minions out who really don't have any answers except for the scripted portions of their speech. So I'm asking the City Council to stop this project. I take great exception to the assumption that this project is going to be going forward. Those of us who are interested in stopping the project will do anything all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary to stop it, because it does not address the real issues of our city: violence, the school system, the need for more police protection. Those issues will not be addressed by a bus system at all. Thank you.
Buck Buckner, Raintown Carspa. It's unfortunate that we've arrived at this place today. I have been participating in meetings like other businesses to find out what's going on, to discuss the impact, also to discuss alternatives to this one single option of ART. The entire idea from a transportation perspective is to get a faster bus, a faster cargo carrier up and down Central. What the deviation is why does it have to be down the center of Central? Why do we have to change the entire culture or make bets, a 20-year, a 30-year bet on millennials that have already left downtown, vis-a-vis the Gap accounting firm that does all over the world, does all the accounting for the Gap Corporation that owns Banana Republic and what have you. They moved out of downtown roughly 3-4 years ago out to Jefferson. They are an entire business of millennials. No one has done a case study on why they chose to leave downtown and move out to Jefferson, where there is not a bus system. And my son, I've got inside information. My son is an accountant for Gap. And one of the things that I think, Martin, I'm just going to say this real quickly. Martin Luther King said the greatest danger to man is operating in a vacuum of sincere ignorance or conscientious stupidity. Conscientious stupidity is really the pinnacle here. We know the right thing to do, but we're continuing to choose to do the wrong thing. These are businesses. There's no deviation between business and government. We have to work together. We are the tax base out here. We have to work together. We can't have business gentrification on the one hand to try and reach out 20 years to get something that's already been leaving downtown, and we don't understand why. Well, I'm on Central 24/7 for 11 years. We've got a significant crime problem on Central. We have yet, since the Barry administration, solved the police problem of getting 300 more police officers. I am the police at my location. I'm the police. We've got to solve that. Public safety is number one in Albuquerque, not transportation of the disenfranchised. The disenfranchised have transportation. They're glad to be able to afford what we're offering now. What we're in business does not operate on a 20-year, 30-year plan. I don't think the cash flow of any of these businesses will save them until 20 years later, when this new vision that some gentleman has up here for millennials is going to arrive. That's a bet not a single business in here would make. But government is always willing to make that bet because they're not business people. I'm surprised, Sanchez, you have a business. You know there's not a 20-year plan in your business. It's every day, maybe 2 years out, but our payouts have to be inside 5 years to get a return that's above the loan rate. Does anyone know that? And our margins are on small business, mature businesses, the margins are only 12 to 13% net with more repairs and upgrades to be made. So where's these ideas that old technology like the web is going to save us marketing? Don't you know they've already moved to the mobile technology? That's where they are now. They're not on the web. They're getting it directly on their phone. That's a late idea from someone up here that does not run a business. We're far past that. Does anyone know that? Does anyone know the culture of Albuquerque? We're not bus riders. Our culture right now, the bus is serving the poor and the disenfranchised. How are we going to change a culture by just injecting in an infrastructure of the middle of the street of Central? How are you going to convince my son that he wants to come and live downtown, right, just like the gentleman said, in a loft that's 750 square feet? We've already continued to fail in building lofts along Central because we don't have the right incomes to match what buying and transferring that property over will make sense for them. He can't afford to live downtown in 750 square feet on a 200,000, 225,000 square foot loft. The beautiful development that we had around Flying Star, it's in decline now. It was successful for a short period, but it's in decline. We need public safety, number one. We've got to really address mental health and drug abuse and stop making downtown the home for this kind of situation. They're everywhere. I can't plant a flower bed on my property without having a homeless guy come in and sleep on $1,000 worth of flowers the night before. And I've got to come in at 6 in the morning and tell them, please get out of here. We're trying to beautify. Why are you here? And they'll come and tell them you got to move on, but we're not doing anything with these people.
They don't have anywhere to go.
So how are we gonna change Central with a bus? Where's the $1 billion of I represent new money. I've been here 17 years. I brought money outside. I didn't come in with the plan of a heavy-handed government that's going to dictate one system only of how to improve a transportation system. My business depends on traffic. Certainly I'm biased. I don't want to reduce the amount of traffic on Central because I run a car wash, guys. And I'm sure all these other businesses, they depend on traffic. How can you be I'm an engineer as well. How can you be an engineer that's in the planning stages of launching all your construction work and come out and block the entire exit of a business? What kind of conscientious or sincere ignorance, conscientious stupidity or sincere ignorance is that?
Absolutely.
How does it even get in place? Let's point the finger at TLC. No, I don't want to do that. We can do better than that.
That's right.
It's a political.
We can do better than that.
It isn't TLC.
This is a replica of a brain. Let's start thinking through all of these issues. These are very sensitive businesses and a part of the culture that we've already created. We're going to castrate that for something 20 years down the road. Hey, no one said that downtown has been declining in business for the last 5 years. What has government and all the brain power they have done about that?
That's right.
Nothing. Come on, let's come together. Let's quit shouting back and forth at each other and establish what the priorities are to get where it is we have to go. I would love an enhanced bus system. But if it's just one single option to getting that bus to go faster, I think we're wrong to say this is it and this is only it. We've got to do better.
Bueno, yo voy a hablar en español, no sé cuántos de aquí me entiendan, pero ella me puede traducir. Es verdad lo que dice ella, él, las entradas de todos los negocios están cerradas. Mi esposo tiene un negocio ahí en Central y ahorita están trabajando ahí enfrente de su negocio de él y está todo cerrado, no hay manera de que la gente entre ahí al negocio.
Is everybody able to understand this? She has a translator.
No, I cannot understand.
Or if I let her go and continue to speak. Excuse me,
Stella,
please.
you're a
Go ahead.
translator,
Let her
right?
proceed.
Okay, can't understand.
People want to hear
What
her.
is going on, like usual.
Okay, then go ahead.
Thank you.
Deja que Stella diga lo que dijiste.
I bet you none of them
I
know
don't need a
Spanish.
speaker, thank you.
I bet you none of them know Spanish.
She's saying that she has a business right now, it's continually blocked, it's blocked as we speak. They've lost a lot of income, they have no way to get in there, they park their tractors there, they have no respect for the business owner.
Okay, let it go again in Spanish.
Y como dice ella, también tenemos niños en la escuela, tenemos familia que estamos manteniendo y ha bajado mucho el trabajo, ha bajado el dinero y estamos batallando ahorita para mantener la comida, los biles, la renta.
She has children in school also, a family to support, a household to keep. They go to school, they need to eat, they need to survive. They're struggling desperately right now with the little money that they're making from them blocking the traffic.
Can you also have her identify the business name? Can people get up to speak? Like the gentleman that
It's
has...
Turbo Tires.
Turbo Tires, okay.
Él dijo, no sé cómo se llama él, pero él dijo que ellos llamaban a los clientes para decirles dónde podían entrar, pero nosotros no podemos hacer eso. Hay gente que solo llega y nosotros no podemos estarle hablando a la gente y decirle, pasa por aquí, entra por aquí. No hay manera de que lleguen ellos.
There's no way for them to contact their people or tell them, there's a way you can go down the back street or get here somehow to the business. There's no way for them to contact them, there's nothing they can do. They can just accept what the city's doing is blocking their traffic and stopping their business from surviving. And they never served them in Spanish. They never served them in Spanish, they was all English. Even if they had gotten something, they wouldn't know what it meant. They need to be served in Spanish because it's a bilingual city.
It's okay, Stella.
All of our flyers have been in English and Spanish. Have you never heard from, you've never seen the flyers in Spanish?
No, ma'am.
Never.
Never, not once.
We never saw a Spanish flyer, but you've been so helpful, because she has made it very clear to us, and don't any of you do any retribution against this woman. When we've called her office, she has told us, and don't laugh, Bruce, because you guys do that. Yeah, you do. But, yeah, there you are, chewing, spit it out. This woman
And
here.
Bruce is always laughing.
When we called her, she has always said, what's going on with the water lines is part of the art project, and it's not her fault. And don't you guys hurt her.
We're not trying to hurt. Patty has done a good job. Again, that's why she's also here today, to reach out to the community so we can work together. Greg, are you up next?
I'm here to represent my wife and my daughter from El Charritos restaurant. My name is Greg Pacheco. I am very disappointed with this project. If I have anger, I always speak with anger. A lot of you people don't understand when a person goes to war. I spent 2 years in Vietnam. So yes, I have a lot of anger. So I hope you can cope with me. To be for Brucey or Bruce, what is that?
It's Bruce.
Brucey.
Chewing gum, no, Bruce.
Brucey. When he said to be disrespectful, I was in federal court a couple of weeks ago. I had to testify. Coming out after I testified, Brucey and Reardon were together sitting next to each other. Where Reardon tells me, what are you looking at? Is that being disrespectful?
Totally.
A person that has been in Vietnam 2 years, has fought for your country, and for somebody to disrespect me like that? Bullshit. And I will never forget that. For the mayor to come on and say this fellow just wants more money for his property? I have a fucking title. I'm a veteran. I'm an ex-businessman. So direct me as Mr. Pacheco to all of you up there.
That's right. We want respect like that.
What you are doing, thank you, Kim, we are signing a letter of intent for a new strip mall that's going to open on Course and St. Joseph. 33 years in that corner in business. And thank you. We're signing a letter of intent this week to move out of the area. Thank you, Kim. I'm pretty sure your father would like that. Your father, your mother were customer of ours for many years, the last 33 years, when you were still a little PM. And you're still one. Excuse me. I wish all of us could get a left turn on Central, just like 63rd and Central. To get a left turn. Wait a minute, I'm talking. You understand?
What does the 63rd Central have to do, right?
It's a light. Why couldn't that light be put on?
Excuse me. John, go ahead and let him finish, and then you can speak afterwards. But Greg, as far as a businessman, I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. I'm disappointed that you're leaving. You've made that decision.
No,
because El Chorrito has been part of our community for many, many years. And again, my parents have supported El Chorrito.
Yeah.
We go down and eat at El Chorrito.
No, you don't. You haven't gone to our restaurants since this project started.
I've been there, Greg.
No,
you may have not been there when I've been there. You may want to talk to your family.
I talked
But go
to
ahead
my
and proceed. I'm going to let you speak. It's you got the floor.
I've talked to
You've
my
got the floor. Go ahead and proceed.
I've talked to my daughter. But anyway, 63rd and Central is getting a light with a left turn. There we go. If you get out of 63rd, you're going to hit some buildings. Nothing but left turns. Okay? I walked from Coors, and I have a bad leg, and my health is not good. I walked it in less than 4.5 minutes. That's pretty close for a light. Why didn't you put the light on 57th and Central, where the fire station is at? That's right. It would have been more practical. Right.
I was not involved in the design work, and if we had a light in front of my business, that would be great.
Politics,
there was no politics involved in this, Greg. You can talk to Mr. Rosuri.
Of course they're going to
There
lie.
was no politics
They're
involved.
gonna lie.
If I would have, I could have had a left hand turn on our business, and we don't. I have no control over the design work of the project. Okay, Greg, are you done, Greg?
No.
Hold on.
Somebody over here, he blames you because I get a light on my corner.
Why did the fire station get
I was not part of the design work. Again, let's don't start basically going back and forth. We're here to try to we're here today to try to help you out to mitigate some of this problem. The water authority was going to eventually come in. Some of these lines are over 70 years old. As Mark Sanchez has stated, they were eventually going to come in and do the work along the corridor, but we didn't want them to come back 3 or 4 years from now as this ART project goes through to come back and tear up the roads once again. That would be a really detrimental impact to our community. Elaine?
Can I ask something really quick?
You may. Let's let her get the microphone over to you.
Again, I'm Kimberly Montano. I have Kim's Chop Shop. It's a very, very small barber shop on off of 58th and Central. The only way to get to me is through Central. If you're saying that these were lines that were going to have to be replaced, was this a project that had to be this big where everything had to be completely shut down? It couldn't be done in little segments? Did it have to be the whole thing where we don't have any access?
Well, that's why I'm here today, and I brought our team here today to address these issues so we can get these problems resolved. We do have some serious problems. We want to make sure that we can deal with these issues. You want to go ahead?
Isn't it kind of late now? Isn't it kind of late now to these people? I understand that. Wait a minute. I got one more question. I understand pipes are old. That's not a problem. Okay, that's not a problem with the pipes are old. They're going to replace. But are they moving the pipes? Are they moving those water lines or whatever they're? Are they moving them? Or are they putting them in the same place where they're at? No, they're moving them so they can help the ART project, right? Right? Or no,
Another part. It's not just the ART project. We've been trying to get funding. We've been trying to get funding for the Yucca.
Are they moving the lines?
The answer is yes. The answer is the lines are being moved. The lines are being moved from underneath the sidewalk. They're currently located underneath the sidewalk to the right of way.
In conjunction with the ART project.
Right.
Well,
yeah, and they look in this one paper.
Yes.
And that's why they're doing it.
How come they don't put the medians back?
It was in the paper.
Why don't you put the medians back? Put the bus on the edge of the road and leave the middle alone.
That's all we're asking. This could so easily be resolved if you put the buses on the end and leave the middle alone.
And the whole thing
That's
could
all
be
we're
solved.
asking. What is so fucking hard about that? Just do it and put them on the side. Forget about the middle. Quit destroying the Route 66.
Let her finish.
And I have another question. question, please. I'm with another question, and I'm very, very sad that you guys are moving your restaurant. I'm very sad about that, because that's been a restaurant that's been there for years. You know, with the thing that you're saying, it's his choice to move. Will it be my choice to move if my business goes under? Because that's what's happening. It's not a choice. If we don't have business for our businesses, how do we keep them there? Me, unfortunately, I don't have a way to move my business. If my business goes under, it's done. Is that going to be my choice?
Yeah, and then they blame us for welfare and food stamps, right?
Is it going to be my choice to give up my dream? To give up the way that I support my children? Will that be my choice? Do you think I want to walk away from something that supports my 2 kids? I'm waiting for an answer. Is that my choice?
That is a major concern for myself, and that's why we are here today holding this meeting to try to help the business community to minimize the impact of what's going on.
Stop financing bad ideas.
Finance good ideas. This gentleman had his hand up, and then there's a young lady over here, and then I'll get to the back.
Did you have more? I'm sorry.
I didn't finish.
Let him finish. Greg,
go
ahead, Greg.
I didn't finish.
Okay, go ahead.
When this project started, when it was announced, we were never told that we were going to lose property. We were neutral on this rapid transit. When they said that we were going to lose some property, that's when we started speaking up. We're on 47th and Central. We have a busy intersection, just like Atrisco, just like Yaca, just like Coors. How long is it going to take for the water department to finish?
Our current goal is to get out of. The current goal is to get out in front of 61st to 64th by the end of this month.
How long have you been there?
We've been there since May 9th.
Wow. That's great, but you know what?
Unacceptable.
Well,
Very slow.
We've lost business from downtown. Our lunch hour, or my wife's lunch hour, the business comes from downtown. They have already addressed my daughter and my wife that they are not going to put up with the traffic. Now, do you think that little loan of $15,000 that you're asking these businesses to get is going to make up for the businesses, for the money that they're losing?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that.
Why do you make it so hard? Ken Sanchez, just stand up. Like I
Ken.
told you.
Come on,
Put the
Richard.
damn buses on the side of the road.
That's
Stop all this
question.
stupid discussion.
Every
Do what's right by the people. This is not right for us. Nobody really wants it.
We're trying to basically address the issues that we're facing today. The water authority is in there doing the work. The lines are in place, and we're just trying to mitigate the problem. That's why we're here today, to try to work with TLC, try to work with Patty in mitigating the problems that we are confronting. I know that we're facing these issues. They're very difficult issues, and it is impacting our business community. Golden Pride is being hurt by it, Max, Jimmy's being hurt by it at the Western.
The restaurant,
I know, Greg,
the
you're being hurt by
restaurant
it.
is open Monday through Tuesday from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 1 hour prior, or 1.5 prior for them to prep. 1.5 hours to 2 hours after closing to clean up. We will not work with your hours. If you want to work with us, you work with the hours that we have. Wednesday through Saturday from 8 o'clock in the morning till 7:30 in the evening. We will not close because of your project.
Too. And I know the fluctuations and the challenges and all that, it is. And it's on a daily basis, like you said. Right now I'm a commuter from 98 down to 5th and 11th daily. And my concern concern is that you're right. Do people ride these buses? I mean, some people do, and like you were saying, you know, people need people, whatever. But I would love to be on and actually I've been going to these meetings for several years since they started up too. And my original thought too is when you're driving down to any of your businesses, right now there's that strip in the middle that's not being utilized. I mean, it is, it's got trees, it's got landscaping. But my original thought is an electric train down the middle to get these buses out of the way so I can get on that thing, so I can save some money, so I can spend more money at your businesses. I don't like driving down there every single day, cars, and you know, I know that business is tough. Done it for a long, long time. Some have worked, some haven't. But what I'm trying to say is that I will climb a mountain to get to your business if you have something I want to get there for. If you have food, I'll go to your restaurant daily. I'll go around the back. I'll go wherever I can go to get to your business to go have dinner or lunch. Car wash, that's not going to stop. I'm going to see your place. I'm going to stop there. I love that place. My car loves that place. Right now with construction, it goes there more than before. And after, when I'm not riding it, when I sit in the garage, if I get a speck of dust, I'm going to your car wash. So this project is not going to stop me from going to any of your businesses. None of them.
It's only stop the rest of the city.
But
you want to finish, please?
I'm sorry, sir.
But the attitudes that we don't need a transit here and it's not a priority. I mean, other things are happening. You're right. Crime on Central, jobs. You're right. But right now, there's $120 million sitting there in a pot waiting to land in your front yard.
That's not true.
So take advantage of it.
Well, let's say truth.
If anybody that knows, just like he was talking about Cleveland, well, you're right. They did put another $3 million in there. But this project itself, that's where that was measured. Not on that $3 million that they injected. It was measured on this. You can do trickle out effects on that too. You can see how these things are. If you free up some money for me from every day commuting down Central, and plus giving me a chance to get on a bus and go up to Nob Hill after work, and I know it, but you know what? You can't find parking. So let me off there. Let me off, and I'll go into your business. Right? I can go right from work. I work right downtown. I can go either direction. The other thing that it does is it connects the rail runner, if I want to get down a little ways further.
Another disaster, the rail runner.
Well, you know what, just like when he was saying that, that transportation doesn't make money, it doesn't make money. It's not supposed to make money. It's a service for the people. That's what we're looking at. And if with this kind of thought that in the air, this would be a cow track down Central.
Are you the only guy riding the bus?
This would be a cow track down Central if we didn't move and adjust with the dates. As far as the Millennium, where are they going and why are they going and why are they not spending the money? I mean, that's whatever, right. But that's not anything to do with this.
That's not going to bring any jobs.
Well, it's going to bring $120 million. It's going to bring $120 million. Listen, that's right. I'm paying for it too.
I don't want to pay for it.
I will.
Well, then you will even run
Will easily be translated into money spent in every one of your shops, multiplied. Just like that.
Take the bus. The bus is empty.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
You can take the bus.
I'm not going to take the bus the way it is right now.
I know, right.
Like
Take
you
the
said.
bus, it's empty.
But an improved bus.
Yeah, we've got. Excuse me. I think that you're talking a good point. I think the rates on the bottom, an excellent point. We do need to address our police department. Back in 2006, we had 1,098 sworn officers in the city of Albuquerque. Today, we are down to they're saying 855. I think that number is even lower than that. But to have a prosperous city, we must have a safe city. And that's one of the things that we as a community need to work on to ensure that we have enough police officers on our streets protecting the citizens of this community.
Well, then
I want to thank,
excuse me.
and I want to thank the officers that are here today.
So do we.
I respect the officers 110%. My daughter and my son-in-law are APD.
That's all I do.
And they tell us, they tell me,
by itself, so let's get him in there.
For that money that you're spending for that project, it should be going to this.
Yeah, I wish that federal money, it's transit money. it's
How about
federal
the
money.
other? How about
I
the
wish
other
we could use that
$70
money
million?
for what we need.
How
I would
about
put
the other
money-
$70
That would be a
million?
priority if I could do it, but we
it's not a
cannot.
priority.
And that's,
You're
excuse me,
outnumbered.
excuse
You're
me.
outnumbered.
The money cannot be used for anything but transit dollars. It's
How about the other
It's a federal
70
grant
million?
that we applied for. I'm not going to argue right here.
Oh, you can't answer the other 70 million?
You guys are matching the 70 million.
There is-
Where's the other 70
Huh?
million?
Where's the other 70 million?
You're matching it.
The government's paying, you're paying for it, people are paying
Through
for
a
it.
bond.
Folks, we have about 4
You
people
guys put
tonight
your
that would
money
like to
down.
speak, so.
Basically, there will be other taxpayers' money from Albuquerque that will be used, the residents will be paying part of it, but there is a huge grant of federal money
That's
that's
not-
being used for this project.
It's not
I think
a
it's up to $40
grant. We
million.
paid for it.
Well, the request now is 69, but there's additional money that are federal grant money that also be used for this project. Okay.
Can I just
Real quick.
close? Thank you so much. I mean, I do appreciate it. I know you guys are going through what I do. I've been there.
Are you in business?
I do. I've got
Are you in
it. But
business?
what I wanted to
I'm
say
So how
is
do you
that
know
this
what we're going through?
project doesn't
How do you know what we're
doesn't
going
scare
through? It's not
me as
business.
much as the attitude of some of the.
Are
some
you
of
in
the-
business or
I am.
what?
I am. And
What's the
and-
business?
and-
What's your business?
Let him close, please.
What's the business?
Let him
You're-
close.
you're-
business? What's your business?
What's your business?
What's the business? What's the business?
What is your
You're not.
business?
Listen to me.
Answer the question.
Let him go and finish up his comments. He wanted to
Sorry,
close
but
them.
previously you demanded that other people stated the name of the
The name of
business.
the
What's the
business.
name of the
The
business?
business. We want to hear it.
Stated for the record.
For the record.
What's your business?
For the
Everyone here is a
record.
business. We all know who we are. Who are you?
My name is Larry. My
What
name is
business
Gomez.
do you own?
I have a little driveway company. I'm not on Central.
Okay, so.
I'm a
then-
community.
What's the name of the business?
My
Name.
point is that you're kind of, the way you're going
What's the
about
name of
it,
your company?
Well, go and close real
the
quick.
project doesn't scare me as much as the way you guys are approaching it. That attitude would scare the crap out of me from your business.
Okay,
No,
sir,
Excuse me,
sir,
go on,
thank
sit
you.
down, please.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move to the next one, because I've got about 6 and I'm losing track. Sir?
My name is Johnny Harris, I know Max, but everybody know.
Good food, Matt.
I'm against the project from the day one, because everybody know around here. I hate it, it's not good for us, period. But it hurts my business so far about maybe 20–25%. And everybody knows, like, you have the restaurant central and everything else. But I have something to say to Mr. Pacheco here, and to this gentleman, I don't know your name, I'm sorry. I have to address something that everybody believes Ken Sanchez about the 63rd and Central traffic light that's going to be there. I don't think it's his decision. I think it has something to the engineers, and to be honest with you, I don't like that light there. I was better off without the light, you know. It's going to hurt me, I know that, because everybody has to go the other way. But I have to say that, and I say that again, that he has nothing to do with this matter. It's because of the engineering project. That's the one that put the light. So people blame me or blame him because he's my brother-in-law, or whatever it is, you know. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
And I've got to hear from John every day about the art
That was a
project.
good one.
But again, I had nothing to do with it. We
one.
could have asked, we could have asked for
The
less.
fire planners, obviously stuck. What about the fire department when they have to get out?
The fire department has full access to
They
the
don't
bus
have
lanes.
U-turns.
But right now that this
They can't
construction
turn
phase
there.
is going on, that's also been an issue, and we're very concerned about that, is our fire department is having a difficult time getting out of Central and 57th Street to get to these emergency calls, and we can't have that happen. And that's another issue that we are addressing.
I'm the
How?
next speaker.
Okay, go ahead.
I went to the community workshops that were held all over the show to talk about just introducing the project, and then it also became apparent that these small loans, tiny loans that are going to be offered to the businesses, that was going to be taken out of the UDAC funds.
That is not the case.
No, I know. Okay, I know. And it's not the case because the community then stood up and said, no way, Jose. So my question is, because I haven't heard much subsequently, I would like to know on record and very specifically, where is the money coming from to fund the 13K loans that you are offering the businesses?
I think he expressed that earlier in the meeting. You want to go quickly?
Yes, so those monies, the money coming from UDAG was mostly supposed to be for business owners in that pocket of poverty only. And it was very misconstrued, and we just said, never mind. Those monies are coming from philanthropies and private people to do a community barn raising along Central. And those are coming from philanthropies and private sector businesses, the funds that are in there now.
With your permission, can I just ask you a follow-up question, please? I just want then your assurance that it will be fundraisings and philanthropies only and no money from the city.
No, there cannot be money from the city against law. This would be in violation of our Constitution because of the anti-donation clause. It was never going to be from city money. UDAG money is not considered city money.
That I understand. I just wanted your assurance on record.
Yes, ma'am.
The gentleman is next, Councilor.
I believe most people in here are echoing some of the same things, that they don't know that this giant project is going to benefit anybody in the long run. And I would say that if we admitted that the buses are 150% usage or capacity, why not just spend the money on just fixing the bus system? Why reinvent the bus? Why tear up the mother road to reinvent the bus? You've got buses, make them more efficient. If it's a matter of transportation and your vision to grow the city, work it that way. But we're hemmed in by mountains, Indian reservations, military bases, and yet we have a problem with sprawl. That's why people have a hard time commuting. It's just a big city. So, you know, fix the buses over there if you wanted to. You have a dream project. Just make things better for the common folk. That's all. And don't tear up the mother road doing it.
Councilor, we've got two others that have their hands up. This gentleman and this young lady here, and it looks like one more after that. So, and then we've got a few. So if we can go ahead and
if you could make your comments brief, thank you.
Yes. This gentleman talked about that he wants a new bus.
No, I didn't say that.
But he isn't using the buses that we have. 40% of all buses in Albuquerque currently go down Central Avenue. Most of them are empty. If this person thinks that he can get on his bus, stop by Mr. Pacheco's restaurant, stop by the car wash, you know, to watch cars being washed maybe, and then go on to his business that we still don't have a name for, and then go back and forth. There's an excellent bus system as we speak that is already serving Central. Now the other issue is the issue of planning. The representations by Mr. Isaac Benton has been that this project has been planned from 2010. From 2010 is 6 years ago. Why didn't the Water Authority get one of those little door hangers saying, hey, you have 5 years to do the water work on Central? You know, we are talking about leadership under the Berry administration. Correct. If this was started in 2010 or in 2012, the Water Authority could have done all of their work, finished it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and not doubled up. We have another situation that's an example of Berry's approach to things. We have downtown at the corner of First and Central, right next to the Transit Authority's offices, and that entire area is being torn up at the same time that all of this other construction is occurring on Central, and that Berry cannot wait to do a groundbreaking to increase the chaos on Central. Where is the leadership that can plan ahead, can think, as this gentleman said, think clearly, use your brain, spread these things out. Don't pile them up so everything all happens at once. That is what time is about. Time is the device of the universe to prevent everything from all happening at once. Berry denies time. He wants everything to all happen at once. 7 years, nothing happens. And now, in a 3 or 4 or 5 month period, everything is supposed to break loose at once. It's called chaos. Thank you.
Hi, Councilor Sanchez.
As you know, I go to most city council meetings and up and down Central with a handful of businesses here, helping them with social media or their websites or whatever. And so that's my purpose for being here. Plus, I run a grassroots media collective, which is for the people, by the people, uncensored. And anybody's encouraged to submit anything that they want for publication. But what I have seen and what I would like to bring to your attention is, you know, based off of what Mr. Pacheco said in regards to the decorum of Bruce, and I don't know his last name, I've seen him laugh at people continuously. We've recorded him for more than, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes at city council, laughing at people, covering his mouth, laughing so hard at the people walking up. Didn't even have anything to do with art. And first they tried to, you know, take the UDAG fund, said it was for the pocket of poverty, but taking that totality in itself, they were fooling with the boards. And they were acting like this board didn't exist, and oh, all of a sudden this board was being lazy for 10 years, didn't do anything with the money, and then they try to snag the UDAG. And it's that, it never ends. The mayor, because I get some of the publications that he sends out for press releases, is that so much million is going to go to taxpayers through a bond. Or a tax credit bond or whatever it happens to be. And I have it in the vehicle. Sorry I didn't bring it in so that I could show you, but if anybody would like to see it, I have it from the mayor's office. That taxpayers are gonna have to pay for it. 69 million is not at all what Bruce said or whoever said it, is not guaranteed at all. In fact, they cut some of that funding. $12.5 million has already been paid out in the last 18 months, according to the Albuquerque Free Press, in payouts from lawsuits. And there's tons more to go. Mayor of Albuquerque is going to try and build his resume off of our backs like every other person has done, off of our backs. One more time. It's like the Milagro Beanfield War never even ended, and you know this, Ken. I'm asking you to look beyond the art and look at why people are so upset. It's because it's the usual everyday shakedown that we are used to. They didn't even have proper signs when there was no buses. They had it with duct tape and written with pencil. You know what I'm saying? That was some bullshit. When we have actual people trying to like get on the bus. Millennials, they don't drive. There's not a high percentage of them driving because it costs $300 to $400 to get somebody in the school age a driver's license. It's not the same like when we went 16 years old, you can go and get your driver's license. It's not like that today. It costs $400. And we live in the poorest state in the, in the nation, and likely above Mississippi in the dirty South. I'm just saying, that's the reality in which we live in. We are products of the environment in which you have placed us in. Not personally, but the government. We just trying to survive. We didn't start the fire, man. We just living through it. Every day, every day. They are marketing to millennials outside of this city, outside of this state, giving them $75,000 called soft loans. That's right. So that they can purchase condos up and down off of the corridor on that side of the river, right? Not on the west side, but on that side of the river. Free loans. How many millennials do we know that could have benefited from it that are New Mexicans? Every single damn one I know. You know, it's never about us. When is it ever going to be about the people that are already here, man? We the people of the great state of New Mexico, we are supreme. And everyone acts like, this lady over here trying to explain to us that we're so stupid. Yeah. That we just don't understand what government's trying to do for us. It's offensive. Yes. It's offensive. And I'm tired of the shakedown just trying to get home. But can't, because every day is this. We deserve better, and we deserve representation.
This young lady is next, and then this gentleman, and then, did I miss anyone over here? Yes. And then you, and then...
My name is Linda. We have Gilbert Sanchez Tax Service, so this also will impact our business. I'm pretty sure all of you think it doesn't because it's Ken's project, but it does. And if he's for it, and he thinks it's a good thing, and we elected him, then I'm all for it. That's all I have to say.
Are you related to him?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Just on the wonder.
Nepotism, what do we keep saying? Nepotism, Why? Yes, sir. Of course, but
Can I talk? Can I talk? Because you've talked
Can you hurry? Because we don't want to hear it.
It's all right. let's be peaceful, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, I like you a lot because you said hello
I have
today.
lived on the west side since 1966. And this is the first time in my life that I'm not proud to be a West Sider because of what I've heard in here. It's the first time in my life. And as far as you, Greg, my mother died 4 months ago. Please don't bring her into your conversation.
Wait a minute, let's not talk
Don't start with me, okay, lady?
No, I don't start.
No,
Don't start with me.
You just started.
Personal stuff.
Well, you didn't say that. Well, okay, let me just say one more thing. When I came here, I thought it was gonna be a meeting to make things better so everybody could discuss it. I didn't know it was gonna be a witch hunt, or I wouldn't even have bothered coming.
It isn't a witch
It
hunt.
is a witch
But
hunt.
it's not a conversation, ma'am, if the street's already tore up and we talking about the
So
streets
why are
being
we
torn
even
up.
talking about it?
Hey,
Why are
ma'am, we
we
didn't call the meeting, we didn't call the
better.
meeting.
I mean,
That's exactly
Jimmy's
it.
been struggling, it's been a challenge for him with Western View. You know, I want to see these businesses succeed. He bought the business from his dad, who started the business 30, 40 years ago. I don't want to see our businesses fail. I have vested interest along the corridor, along with Jimmy, along with John, along with Greg, and along with some of the smaller businesses in the community. But we moved to West Central back in 1963, and people cautioned my dad, why would you want to move to West Central? He said, because I live close to the place of where I work and where I live, and I want to be successful, and we can be successful and not have to locate in the Northeast Heights or another quadrant of the city. And we have been. We do close to 8,000 tax returns with our business and a lot of bookkeeping work in our business, and we've been very successful because we've been honest, we've been fair, and we are along the West Central corridor. So I want you to succeed just like we've succeeded because, you know, we started along the corridor. I don't want to see any business fail along the West Central corridor because I know that you can be prosperous, you can be profitable, and you're in business to make a profit. I want to see every single business make a profit, but I know that this project is hurting our businesses, and that's why I called this meeting here today to try to assist and to help in any way that we can to mitigate some of the problems that we are going to deal with. And this isn't even phase one of the ART project. This is the Water Authority coming through, P&M coming through. So I mean, there's more to come, and we've got to make it as viable as possible for our business community without hurting them. I mean, even with the signage, I'm going to ask Mark that we start putting signs out there saying access to Western View, access to Crystal's Car Wash, access to Monte Carlo. I mean, they've got to have ways to get to these businesses and not feel that they're shut out. And I know that the people from the Frontier and Golden Pride have not spoken here today, but they're down 25%. And I'm very concerned about that because they've been in our community and a lot of their employees work on Albuquerque's west side. But they can continue to grow and prosper and not have to lay people off. I mean, that's extremely alarming to hear that Golden Pride, which is one of the bigger companies along with the Frontier, is having to lay people off on Albuquerque's west side. And a lot of those residents live on Albuquerque's west side.
That's right, and it affects the gross receipts, which affects
Counselor,
our
what I'm going to do
budget.
now is I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask the people that have not had an opportunity to speak first, and then those that have spoke, I'll get to you as soon as they've had that opportunity. Is that okay, Counselor?
Yeah, let's go ahead and
Here. Go ahead.
My name is Dee Silva. I have Dee's Hair Design. Okay, I built a building where everybody said, why did I build such a pretty building on the west side? Well, I'm proud of the west side. I grew up on the west side, and I hope to stay there for a long time. My business is low, just like everybody else's, and that's not a problem. My problem right now is being told that our water would be shut off, and I'm not sure when it'll be shut off. I want to know when, if we're going to be getting notices, so that we know that we close that day, or we're not going to open half a day, because I'm sure that everybody here is just concerned about that. The art program, I mean, I'm not for it, but beside that, I mean, we're going to work through this. And if I'm just given notification of when these things are going to happen, that's fine. And I'd also like to know, this has already been going on so long, how much longer will this first section go on, and how many years will it go for the art program?
Patty, the issue regarding the specifics of the...
So I can talk to you. So our crew should be giving you notice. You should be receiving 2 notices. One, we do a trial shut off, where we go actuate the valves to make sure that the valves actuate, and then we'll do the actual shutdown later. And so there's often 2 notices. One to say, hey, we might impact you for a short time while we turn valves, and then the second time for the actually cut in. So you should be getting 2 notices from us. The next big shutdown we have is on our 16 and 12 inch
The other
lines.
thing with the water shutoffs to mention is in business areas, we try to do it at night. So
Now, that said, if something breaks or there's an emergency, we can't let you know because our first, we try to get in as soon as we can, but our first goal has to be to get the valves turned off so we can isolate that otherwise water's going everywhere. So the next big water shut-off, I think, is next week. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. As far as how long we're going to be in this segment, we're trying to get done by?
We're hoping to be done with segment 1 by the end of September. In your guys' area.
No, not
sooner than
that's
that.
the whole project.
Yeah, so the goal between 61st and 64th is to get done by end of August. Caveat on that is we have old lines that are interconnected, and we have to troubleshoot those lines. So right now we're having issues shutting down one of our main transmission lines. We have crews out there this week trying to figure out which lines we need to close, and it's possible that we don't have a valve and we'll have to insert a valve. And so that could extend that date out because we can't kill the line to cut everybody in. And so our goal is end of August in the hopes that we're able to kill this line so that TLC can complete their job.
The next segment will be 40th and Sunset.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Well, it's the same segment.
The same segment, but the next area we'll be moving to will be 40th and Sunset. That is anticipated to start.
Hopefully actually going to try to start that next week.
Going to try to start next week. I will be out notifying all those businesses hopefully by tomorrow or Friday. But the goal to get done with what we're doing right now, if we don't end up with any more emergencies, is the end of August.
And why are you doing it there? Just because some of them are broken and some aren't?
40th and Sunset has actually already failed.
Yep.
It's failed twice this summer. So it was added on because we have to fix it. We've kind of got a temporary patch in, but you've all seen the places where they've been in every week. We're trying to get this done and then we'll move down and do that. But that has to be fixed because it's already failed, I think, twice.
But this isn't ART related, am I correct?
No, this is not ART related. It was added on to this segment because we're in the area and we can get it done that way.
We've got 2 more, then I'll get to you, promise you.
Anyway, I'm Larry Reinachek with the Golden Bites, and the question I had was, why can't we get a double shift working when we have the construction in these areas? Because we seem to have many sections under construction at the same time. Specifically, we're under construction between Yucca and North Coors, and then also now we're under construction with the water system between University and Girard. And there's not enough labor there apparently to keep the projects moving. And so there's so much downtime that I think is a big contributor to the frustration. We realize that the project needs to be done because, aside from the fact that it's sort of promoted or generated by the fact that the A.R.T is coming, but why can't we get a double shift going with TLC and do one project at a time rather than 2 projects, and 3, whatever, because the San Mateo project took forever.
Yeah.
And it isn't, I mean, you say that there's a lot of surprises, but if you have a double shift, because I know that daylight is still here, where we could start at 5 o'clock in the morning and finish at 8 and still be in daylight. Now we're getting out of that window, and are we going to continue to try to do the water project ongoingly and have this thing have central tore up? Because if you tear it up anywhere, it affects the other part. I mean, so we've got bumper-to-bumper traffic in front of our Golden Pipe, and it has been there for months. Not just, I mean, what the P&M, and now it's with TLC, but there's not enough activity. We need the double shift. Is there a reason we can't do that?
So right now, how we have it bid or separated out is we have TLC in segment 1, which is the Sunset to Coors, and then we have New Mexico Underground from University to Girard is the work they're doing currently. We're trying to double up on shifts right now. TLC is getting another shift on segment 1, which is of course to
Let's clarify that.
another crew. I'm sorry, another crew, not another shift. And New Mexico Underground has currently 2 shifts out there working now. The issue with running into night work is having enough water crews out there to start isolating lines and stuff if something does go south. And so we try to control some of the surprises by scheduling work during the daytime when we have the most people to respond, right? I don't know if you can answer more, with regards to shifts.
As far as
day shifts.
This is John Rice. John is the project manager. I'm sorry.
I met some of you guys, and I do apologize for the inconveniences you've had. I know that you guys have had some issues. I felt that Patty has done a great job on informing me. We are doing our very best to address those issues as they come up, and we will continue to do that, whether we're here or further down in Old Town. We'll keep doing that. As far as nighttime, the question was asked, there is an ordinance in Albuquerque for noise. You've got loaders, you've got excavators, you've got breakers. It's going to be noisy. There are very many neighborhoods nearby that would be very opposed to that. So we appease you guys, but at the same time, we're upsetting the rest of the people that live here, which are some of you as well. So that's part of the reasons why. So that's all I can say about that.
Now, let me just follow up on that. You're saying that you have what's your time limit on the noise ordinance?
It's, I believe it's 7 to 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So why aren't we, okay, so we start at 7. Now, true, I know it's more expensive to work with the lights, but we've got the daylight till 9 o'clock or had it for several months now. I mean, as far as starting in May or June, well, June's the longest day, so why aren't we concentrating the efforts in clearing the area out?
We've actually been trying to hire people.
Yeah, but see, then why do we do, if you're short-handed, why do you have a project tore up at University and Girard?
They're different.
That's a whole
They're
different
different contractors.
company, but isn't that part of the water project?
Yeah, but they're different contractors. So
why don't we? Why do we tear it up in 2 places? And if you don't have the personnel, then maybe you need to do half, work them together somehow.
Well, so one thing that we are doing is for the Old Town area, we have work to do in that area, and we're holding off on that until we get more central buttoned up from a water utility standpoint. But that is, we would hire 2 separate contractors. We go through our on-call bids. As usual, Brooks Underground got University of Central, and TLC got this segment. And so the idea is that they have completely different workforces and wouldn't be hindered by being spread too thin overall of Central.
Yeah, whether it's anybody bidding against TLC for the job.
So
Larry still has the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what is, I'm of the impression that we're gonna be tore up in front of Golden Pride starting when is that project starting? In front of, where it starts going from Yucca down towards.
I think you're talking about the Yucca Central Sewer Project. Is that what you're?
I was having a
When do you start the project on the water from the Yucca down to Sunset?
There's no Yucca.
Yeah, there's no. So it's just going to be very localized. Between 40th and Sunset, we have old steel line that's failing, and so we're going to run a new 6-inch line and abandon all the old steel in that area.
Well, anyway, the main thing is that it seems like the roads are tore up for a longer period of time than they need to because there's so little activity. And if there's any way to get the contractors to work with the businesses so they have a bigger presence there so we can get the streets or reopened, because it just seems to take way too long to get that project that is affecting Golden Pride, that's between North Coors and Yucca, has been going on way longer than one would think it should take for that water line project.
Right, and we've had meetings with different folks, businesses. Originally, the goal was to do Yucca to 64th all in one long shot, and that would have been traffic bypass for that entire time, so no left-hand turns. After talking to Mr. Payton and I visited and other businesses, we understood that people would like it. It would be more business friendly if we broke it to smaller chunks. And once we broke it to smaller chunks, that did extend out our time. So originally we were planning to be done in July. Now our end date is here in August for the end of this shift to 64th. And a lot of that has to do with is just trying to fit the equipment and crews, from what I understand, can only fit so much in the area. The perception that there's not work going on, for instance, right now, it looks like there's a big chunk between 61st and 64th that doesn't look like it's being worked on. That's part of the line that we're trying to kill, our old 16-inch line. And so that's why that road has not been, that's why the traffic has not been brought back over. So it looks like there's no work going on there, and there's not above ground. But we have an active line underneath that we're trying to kill and grout fill. And so that's why some of those perceptions, it looks like we're not doing work, but we do have work to finish up in that area. And that's why we're trying to get that done. And then obviously Frontier Restaurant by Yale, you've seen a lot of work going on there with Mexico Underground. And a lot of the stuff happens the same where we run into emergencies and crews that we're supposed to be paving, we have to pull off to get digging so that we can discover which lines are failing, which lines are interconnected. And so those situations do come up. But our goal is to have two separate crews on North and Central so that we can get that paved out relatively quick.
Okay, she has a follow-up. I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm sorry, I just have a follow-up question on that. You're saying that whole area is blocked off because of work that's being done underneath.
Right.
Why does that whole road have to be blocked off for that? Can't some of the traffic be on that side? Because right now, that's right in front of my shop, and I have no access because of this.
I understand it, and it was, last Thursday is when we had that break that we impacted some customers, but that's when we cut into a line that we thought was dead, that was live because it's being backcut. And so that's the line that we're trying to kill. So that line runs down to
I understand that. I
so
completely understand what you're saying on that. My question is, why does that whole side of the road have to be blocked off for something you guys are working underneath the road?
well, can you talk to that?
So the reason, again, a lot of your traffic control issues are. A lot of the traffic control issues are safety. You've got a road that is not paved yet. That road cannot be paved until that line underneath the route goes to make sure it's done. If somebody gets on that road and it's that magnitude, and a motorcycle or a car accident happens, everybody's upset and ready to sue for that. We have to take the public safety first. That road is not safe and will not be safe until it's paved.
I understand that. I just had a question.
No, I understand. I just want to make sure you guys understand.
And there is accidents happening because of it. I did have a customer pull out because of this construction and hit a motorcyclist right in front of my shop.
There you go.
Because of the construction, they couldn't see each other. It's already happened. And that happened right in front of my business.
And that's
So
a very hard
I
deal
just
to
had a
control.
question, that's why I wanted to know why it's still blocked.
So are you gonna go over to Kim and try to help her out?
Absolutely. I've been out to most of you guys trying to help,
Yeah.
trying to make sure your access, I mean,
We
a
have
lot of
time.
times, access that you guys look at access and may not be the one you want or the way you want it, but there's no other way for us to get across. And we're doing our best to make sure. I'm not saying that we haven't made mistakes, ma'am. I understand. We have.
But now
But
you're gonna put up signs.
We have put up signs, and then the next day they're gone. And we're gonna keep trying to put up signs.
People are hungry.
For like you say, access to business signs.
Business access sign, yes ma'am. I have several pictures. I put up 11 just 3 days ago. I think all 11 are gone. Yes. People in your neighborhood are taking those signs down and removing them. And I don't know what to do about that. And the water authority, they're on board. They want us to keep trying, and we are continuing to try.
So maybe there's another way to secure them or something?
And they take the whole thing.
We have time for 2 more questions, and then I'm going to have Garrett from TLC make a couple of closing statements.
I've listened and I've heard. I just want to offer one more premise here. What I don't understand is why the hurry, and why all the mistakes. Being a scientist for 30 years, I understand the case of we didn't start mapping the underground until after 1960. But even today, to track water flow, what's a live pipe, what's not a live pipe, that technology isn't something we're waiting on. That's already here. I don't understand how you can cut a line by mistake and it's still flowing. You're doing a disservice to engineering technology, planning, the whole hope coordination, those kind of mistakes shouldn't be made. Clearly, we see it's having an impact on the business. There's something about the definition of public service, guys, where public service means it's not about me, it's about the public. And in all of this, in the rush, in the hurry up, and yeah, Barry's administration is coming to its term. We got to hurry up and get all this done. That doesn't seem like that's in the interest of serving the public.
No.
That seems like that's more in the interest of serving an agenda. Ken, you've been in your seat for years. We applaud and appreciate you being in that seat. And if you remain in that seat, that's wonderful. But we count on you to bring objectivity to these things. I mean, it doesn't even affect your district for the most part. It's Benton and the young lady that couldn't even be here today, and some others along the Central Corridor. But we need more objectivity to these kind of ideas. You know, you heard me say it earlier. It's a 20-year bet that we're going to change our entire culture and have millennials start coming in here for the high-paying jobs that we don't have. We've also got to understand from a broader picture, right, that oftentimes when you get a new idea, if you don't get it first and second, right, and you're the 50th guy to get the idea, oftentimes for the 50th guy that says, I want to do the same thing that Silicon Valley, Portland, Cleveland, and everybody else did, oftentimes that doesn't go well. We have to come up with our own ideas that fit our own culture. We've got to be sensitive to this young lady. This entire state, for me, was that it was a stronghold and a bastion for small business. Sure, we've been chasing the 50th person to get the idea, to get going on trying to attract this group or this technology group and that technology group. But we've never led in anything. We need to come up with our own ideas, our own solutions. We need to take our own time, because it is important. If it doesn't come through 20 years later, you've lost an entire segment of business. With the hope and the plan and the dream. I appreciate what the gentleman said. Government does serve the community in some way, but we're moving to an age here where there's so few dollars to choose from different pools to launch projects. We've got to be more than just appropriators. We've got to be accountable for that future that we're betting on. And if we're wrong, you've done a disservice to all of these people.
That's what we're saying.
A terrible disservice. If there were other options to get this bus to move fast, give it light controls, get the money, collect, get them on through the corridor pretty quickly. If there were other options to that besides putting it down the Central or Central, it's going to take someone courageous, Ken, to say, hey, wait a minute. Maybe this whole thing did get a little fast forward and advanced. Maybe some of those meetings were contrived, where they took up a collection of questions, vetted the questions, and then decided what they wanted to address, as opposed to making it open government, open meeting. What's your question? Let's hear from you. It was never done like that. That entire process. I've been putting together business meetings for years. That entire process was not a, we really want to listen and hear what you have to say. It wasn't a respect of the community. It was totally a departure from real public service. And I don't understand that, but I think this meeting is important, because we can talk and we can figure out, how to come together and find out a way to get something better than what we've got coming through the corridor downtown. But we don't have to sacrifice. We don't have to kill. I don't think we need to kill businesses to get there. But someone has simply said, or even in arrogance, another thing about conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance is what covers it up is the arrogance that we've seen from some of these officials. There's no place in here for arrogance. We're neighbors. We don't need your arrogance. We just need understanding. We need to talk openly, speak openly, and figure out how to arrive at where we want to go. And this is an important meeting. This is not a done deal yet. It's not. It's not. Benton wrote an editorial this morning in the paper. It was as though it was all done. And he said, how can we turn away from accepting a $70 million injection? Well, I can make an investment in a failed business tomorrow. And what it is a one-time failed investment. That's not the way business thinks. Business wants to be perpetual, as all of the businessmen are represented here in this room. They've been continuous. They've been successful. Now we want to make a bet on something that we're not sure of. But we're the 50th with the idea. We're going to get those new young people, of which my son is one, and he's worked, again, he works for the Gap, and the Gap is loving their new neighborhood out here in Journal Center. You know, there's not as many homeless out there. You know, there's not as much crime out there. Getting back to what's priority for our city. This man, he lives here, he knows what our priorities are. He needs to get those other councilmen to work with him to drive the true priorities of Albuquerque. Sure, we want to improve the bus system, but there's 10 different ways you can do that. I can assure you as an engineer that I can come up with 20 different ways to improve that, not just one. And saying, this is the only choice, this is the only choice you have. It's not. And that's not fair. And that's not a fair,
could you imagine,
that's not a level playing field.
Could you imagine if the A.R.T project was connecting Rio Rancho?
Oh, could you imagine?
With
South Valley.
Yes,
Who is Albuquerque?
Outstanding.
That would make so much sense.
Yes.
Folks, we do have
Right down
people
course.
here, and I apologize. A lot of hands are coming up right now. We also have an email list here. If everyone can make sure we have that. Counselor, I don't know if you'd like everyone to follow on that, because there have been several hands that have gone up since, and I know many people have mentioned in their comments that they do have to get back to their businesses also. So I'm going to ask these two gentlemen who have been waiting quite patiently for their turn and have not spoken, Mr. Eddie, sorry.
Just for us, two more speakers that I have, like Garrett that wants to make a couple of closing statements, and we have allowed the additional time for this meeting, so we really want to get your input, so go ahead.
Any follow-up comments, please? My colleague John Marie here has a sign-up sheet. If you can please make sure to have your information there. I work for City Councilor Sanchez, and I will make sure that we are getting your information and that we stay in touch with you as we're getting it also. Correct, Councilor? Correct. Okay, sir.
You don't have the floor, sir.
Yes.
He's waited patiently to speak. You can speak after, but let him speak first. Go ahead, have a seat.
Actually, this gentleman had it, and then Mr. Eddie.
Okay, then sorry about that. Go ahead.
My name is Joseph. I'm just a concerned citizen, okay? And, you know, there's a lot of businesses. You know, you just made a statement a while ago that you're concerned about all these businesses, you know, that whatever. If you were so concerned about it, why did you vote for it? Why didn't you take it and say, look, let's take it to the voters and let them decide? Why, you know, Mrs. Peña, Clarissa Peña, she did have the nerve, and she voted no. Why did you vote and say no? Let's look at this project. No, Mr. Berry wanted it, and I'm sorry you have other in the near future, and I know what you're looking for. But that's besides the point. You know what I'm saying? Why did you vote for it? Why didn't you take it to the people?
I did
Why
vote
didn't
not
you
take
take
it
it
to the voters. We are in a metropolitan redevelopment area, which we've been in along the West Central Corridor. I'm answering the question. West of the river, and basically we have fought to bring development to Albuquerque's west side for many years. When we get excited about a Burlington's, when we get excited about a Conn's coming to the west side, you know, we deserve the same amenities as people across the river in the east side of Albuquerque. I'm supportive of retail development and new business coming to Albuquerque's west side. The infusion of economic development and the money that's going to be coming to West Central is going to be around $30 million with the A.R.T project, plus the improvements by the Water Authority, the new sewer lines, and also the P&M putting in the new lighting. This is a huge and economic benefit for the west side. And to turn $30 million away as a west side representative, I had a difficult time saying no. But I did support it, and I stand by my vote.
Talking about a close population that doesn't exist, these millennials you want to bring in.
I'm not talking about millennials. I'm talking about bringing economic development to Albuquerque's west side, which we need.
There are our own millennials that does not exist.
We're not talking about millennials right now. That was discussed earlier. We've got the speaker in the back, and I appreciate the question. We'll talk afterwards. There's
one more question. One more question. They started on the west side. Are they doing the same thing on the east side? Starting that same project? Why did they start on the other side? Why did they start on the east side and let them deal with the problem over there? And then, once we figure that out over there, bring it over here. If you are a representative, you are a representative. You know, you and Teresa Peña are a representative.
Exactly,
So
that's
you
why
need
we're,
to
that's why I'm here
listen
today.
to these people.
That's why I'm here today to try to listen and fix some of the problems of the village. We have problems. Okay, go ahead.
It's late.
I have two questions. I don't know who's there's going to be able to answer it. What exactly is going to take place from Yucca to Sunset? Is it going to be the same tearing up of the streets?
Well, it's going to be at 40th, so it's not going to be from Yucca down to Sunset. Oh, yeah, so the Yucca Central project is a sewer going in to mitigate the odor issues that we have on the west side. And so, I'm not the project manager from that, but I believe the sewer is going to be coming down 59th Street and then re-kicking into the old cores.
Actually, well, I know about it. They'll actually dig an underground trench to put the sewer across Central. They're not going to cut across Central. That's the reason it was allowed to go on during the design. I don't have a start date for it yet. There'll be a second public meeting probably in September where the contractor will be on board and we'll go over the plan. That project is going to have more impact on the residential neighborhood than Central. It's going to go under Central.
So you're not going to tear up Central?
No, it's going underneath. We're doing an actual jack and board, which is where they open a hole and they push the pipe underneath Central, and then they open a hole on the other side of Central to connect it in.
Okay, the second one, that light where it all South First and Central. We're noticing that our customers are starting to use that light a lot, but I think it only has 2 seconds. And it only allows 1 or 2 cars to go through. Can something be done with that light?
We can talk to traffic engineering and see what we can do if they can re-signal it.
I talked to them at the last meeting, which was over a month ago, and nothing's been done.
Okay, well let me call. My name's Patty, and I will get back in touch with you.
Okay, thank
And
you.
I'm going to go and close that, but I'm going to let Garrett from TLC make a couple of comments, and then we will close this meeting. But I want to thank all of you for coming out. I'm not sure if Elaine has passed out my cards, so you can contact our office. I know the TLC will be passing out their cards. You will be in touch with Patty, but we do have some major problems and issues, and we've got to get those addressed.
Thank you very much, Councilor. Gary Hennessy with TLC. Good morning, and I'll be very brief. I'm very pleased that we have Brian Boffman and John Keyes here with us this morning. And first and foremost, we're about the safety, the access. Ms. Montano made a good point about the incident that happened in front of our business. We're concerned about access, and most of all, we're concerned safety, both in the neighborhood, our own employees, and just being good neighbors, because we're an employer, just like all of you. And you probably have family members or friends or neighbors in this neighborhood that work at TLC. We want to communicate with you. That's why we're here with Patty today, Mark Sanchez from the Water Authority, so we can address your issues, work as efficiently as possible, and be on our way. But we understand your frustrations. Mr. Pacheco, I myself am a former Army officer, active duty, appreciate your service. My father was in Vietnam. Thank you for your service. I was a former business owner before TLC. We want your input, and as much as we want this project to go well, we want to be able to communicate with you first and foremost. So we'll be around giving out business cards and contact info and coordinating with the Water Authority so we can find out about things that impact you. Because we know everything is important when you're a business owner. Thank you.
Again, thank you for coming. And we will be in contact with you. Again, Elaine will be passing out my business cards. So let's work together on this, because this is not an easy project, and we must work together in getting this done.